watching Rhapsody TV, and this is O.A.R. versus The Box. What inspired you to name the CD King? This was an album that was both about our character, the Wanderer, that we introduced in our very first record back in '97, but it was also about the first 10 years of us as a band. You go through a lot of changes, and you're always trying to maybe just not only please yourselves, but please people around you. And this was a record that we decided we were going to do whatever it was we wanted, however we wanted to sound, whatever type of song we wanted it to be. We wanted it to be a diverse, sonically diverse album, and really own it. And that's what being a king is all about.
We used Wonderful Day in our wedding. What is your favorite song? My favorite song is 5250, I think, at least to play live. It's just kind of this long journey. There's so many different moments, and the song comes from a personal place that I really respect and appreciate, which is the story of someone we met while we were, I guess, making efforts to support the military, which is really important to all of us. It's just a lot of fun to play. It's very energetic, and it's just a good time on stage.
Who made the decision to tweak the songs during live sets so that they were different every time? Or was that something that just came about organically? Well, my guess would be that when we started in the basement, when we were 15, 16 years old, we were just kind of playing music for ourselves and for our buddies sitting there. So it was probably just the enjoyment of playing music. I think a little bit more than the songwriting at the time. So it was like, why write a song that's going to be 3 minutes when we're having fun playing? And then when we started playing our first shows, a lot of times we would have to play parties for like hours, and we didn't have that much material, so we were already like having to repeat songs anyway. So it was like, let's stretch them out, and also let's, maybe do a different version of that song so it's not the same thing we just played, 2 hours ago. So my guess is that because of that, early on, then it just started kind of being something that we just did very naturally and organically.
You attribute much of your success to your live performances, so is it hard to go into the studio to record? I think now we're very comfortable. It's when we're making a record, live performances to me start becoming foreign because we're just not used to doing that, or I'm not used to doing that. So when we're in the studio, my head is in the studio. When we're about to go on tour or on tour, my head is in the live performance aspect of what we're doing.
And here's a question. What is Toy Store about? I went through a family tragedy and really made a connection to the song. And I was curious what your inspiration behind writing it was. The song is basically a metaphor for how I felt at the time. I was a young guy, about 16 or 17. I felt like everyone really expected a black or white choice or decision or statement or commitment from you. I mean, and that's continued through life. Down to politics or even making records or what kind of band you are, or everyone always wants an answer from you exactly who you are or what you believe and honestly I think that a lot of life exists in that gray area. So Toy Store for me is a giant metaphor of you're walking through this toy store and they're saying you can only have one toy and you can only make one decision, you can only be one thing. And I just don't think that's true.
Here's a question. Do you think things would have been different if you hadn't self-marketed so relentlessly? The funny thing about it is I think we kind of went with the flow a lot of times, and I think it was up to our audience that really pushed us and grew us. We were in college, we were playing shows on the weekends, file sharing and the internet, and people having the ability to access music through the internet was just a very brand new thing, and we were one of those bands that kind of rode that wave. And I think things would have been differently if we didn't finish school and not go out on tour relentlessly. And that's something that we did. We toured pretty much straight for 5 or 6 years and maybe took a week or two off in between. But I also think that helped us grow and develop a sense of identity with the band as well.
This last question here says, what was your favorite part of recording the song Heaven? Well, I would say our favorite part of recording the song Heaven had to have been the choir session. We were in New York City friend of ours put together a killer 12-piece choir. Some old friends we'd worked with in the past, some brand new friends, folks that we just hadn't seen in a long time, and they hadn't seen each other in a long time. So when we showed up for the session, there was instantly just the happiest vibe in the room. This song is not a religious song. However, when you bring a choir into the situation, it lifts you to a place that you hadn't been all day long. Just listening to somebody sing, a group of people singing, took me somewhere that was so not even in that studio, and elevated my head to a place that I can't describe. It was a really great night, and it was just 2 hours, just a few takes. We just didn't micromanage this thing. We did not overproduce it, and it was a real special